Hi, welcome back to Elements in Focus. Today we're talking about retirement planning for the self-employed. My name is Rheaume. I'm the Director of Financial Planning, and I've got an old friend, a longtime colleague, uh, one of the original Elements in Focus, gentleman, Grant Soliven, with me. How are you, buddy?
Oh man, good to be here, baby. Thanks for having me.
So, Grant, we are always walking and talking through our 5 critical element process. If you are new to watching this is where myself or another one of our advisor team will break down our 5 critical elements, things such as your life after work, tax planning, the investment playbook, risk management, and legacy planning. So today we're going to be focused on your life after work. And so here at FEG, we take care of a lot of self-employed people. Self-employment is the backbone of, the United States economy. For most folks, Grant, what are some strategies that can be employed for the self-employed?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we had about 3.5 hours to cover, I'll go through each individual plan per each lens of perspective, meaning, large entities, smaller entities, individual entities. But I think for the sake of the conversation today, Aaron, I'm really going to cover this from the lens and angle of an individual who's self-employed, who's really running an organization with themselves or their spouse. We'll start there, and if we get more feedback to do this again for larger entities, we can kind of go from there. So, from the perspective of a self-employed individual, you're kind of on your tax return. We consider you a sole proprietor. You're kind of doing business and you're getting things off the ground. It's just you. There's a couple things that you can do, right? So the benefit of being a sole proprietor is from a tax perspective, all the advantages and tax savings you get to have by deducting things. And some people believe that because you're a sole proprietor, you're, not even an LLC or a pass-through entity like an S corp, you really are limited. Well, here's the good news: you're not. And so, thanks to some of the studying and the work that we've done here in the past with families and the self-employed, you still have actual access to plans like a SEP IRA. So that stands for self-employed plan or self-employment plan, which actually speaks to the individual. Now, in that plan, right, why would you save money there? Well, it helps on the taxes you pay from the business, but also starts generating income that you can use in your future. So tax deferral today, growth in the account tax deferred, all up when you draw money out in the future, that will be paid taxes later, maybe hopefully at a lower tax rate. And we can talk more about that later in other videos, or you can watch other content where we discuss maybe you should look at other alternatives to that as well. But a SEP works perfectly for someone who's starting out, who needs to put some money away for retirement, maybe needs some tax savings. It's a great way to start. The other option that most of the time is not really talked about, and even what we find is from some CPAs that we don't partner with, is that you have access to what's known as a solo 401k plan. So why would you choose a solo 401k plan over a SEP IRA? Well, a SEP IRA, you're limited to 25% of earnings, which is very gross, is actually a much deeper calculation of business earnings that you can participate in the SEP. We're in a solo 401k plan, even though there's more paperwork to get it set up, and it takes a little bit longer to get in place, you actually have all the rights to contributions like you would if you had a 401k plan at another provider. And so in an article I'll write following up with this discussion today, I'll put the limits of contributions for the current year in that info. So you have those as well. I'm not going to cover it today because it takes time, but we'll have an extra piece that we'll create to kind of go with this so you can see those limitations. But you can have access to a solo 401k and invest it just like you can in a brokerage account. So you have the best of all the worlds, right? You can do tax deferral, Roth contributions to massive sizes. You have 415 limits where you can put business contributions in and get more tax deferral. There's mega Roth strategies, and you get to invest it well. So again, these are all tools that are available to you so you can plan for your future. So if you're self-employed and someone's telling you can't start a retirement plan, please show them this video, and or more importantly, just call us and we'll help you get that set up and get rocking and rolling. Now, if you're self-employed, you're an LLC, and let's say you have a pass-through entity like an S corporation, right? There you still have access to all those same tools. But my favorite part is this: as a pass-through entity, you're going to set up payroll. And why I want to talk about this is because how you make contributions to those retirement plans will change a little bit, because as a pass-through entity, you'll need to set up payroll and have a payroll company do some of those things with you and for you. But here's the key. And why am I bringing this up? Not only because you get to save and you have to do a little bit of a different way, But sometimes we find that self-employed individuals that are using a pass-through entity like an S Corp will try to pay themselves as little as humanly possible to save on Social Security and Medicare tax, right? But the downside is that limits your Social Security distribution later in life. And so I always caution individuals when they say, Grant, I was a sole proprietor. I'm now moving to a pass-through entity, an S Corp, super excited. I'm going to pay myself as little as possible and, stick it to Uncle Sam so I don't have to pay Social Security and Medicare. Well, remember, that has a negative effect on the back end. And so we want to make sure you sit with individuals when building some of these retirement plans for yourself or looking at pass-through entities as your business matures to make sure you're doing the right thing best for yourself long term. Again, this is not easy stuff. This is why we recommend very disciplined and very good partners, CPA partners, along with good planners like our team. This is not something you should take lightly. It's not something you should jump into lightly. And remember, even if you're self-employed, you still have access to all the same tools your peers do who have W-2 jobs. And it's a great time and a great place to start using these tools today. So if you've got any questions, please reach out to us. Aaron, is there any questions you have for me before we wrap this up for our viewers?
Grant, I really don't. I mean, you can tell you're passionate about working with the self-employed. You've been doing it for more than a decade, probably close to 2 decades now. And so Grant's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to self-employed plans, and not just retirement plans in general. There's a lot of tax strategies that we can set up outside of retirement plans that will guide you and help you transition to your life after work. So if you're self-employed and anything Grant said sparked an idea, sparked a question, please reach out to us. You can send us that question to talk-to-FEG@yourlifeafterwork.com. But more importantly, schedule your next steps meeting with us. It's worth an hour and a half of your time where we will talk through your situation, your unique situation, your specific situation, not the cookie cutter approach that we like to put people in boxes. We'll guide you through your specific situation, give you things to think about today, things to think about in the future, and if we decide to partner together, a written plan of what FEG will do for you. A couple ways to schedule that meeting. As you can see on the screen, you can call us at 800-928-4001. Go to yourlifeafterwork.com or scan that QR code on the screen, fill out the contact us form, and one of our advisors will reach out to you to get that meeting scheduled. Thank you so much for watching our videos. We hope you have a blessed day.